Hey everybody, Jeremy here, and welcome to a new episode of Sipping with Jeremy. And we're going to be doing a What Do I Do With It episode today. And we will be highlighting Licor 43 out of Cartagena, Spain. So the history of Licor 43 starts in 1946 when the Zamora family created the brand. But the inspiration for Licor 43 dates back all the way to 209 BCE. So when the Roman Empire conquered this part of Spain, they found that there was a local spirit being made that was called Licor Mirabilis. Now, part of what the Romans did when they conquered territory was try to unify it as much as possible. So besides putting in vines to grow grapes and then make wine from that, they also banned the making of Licor Mirabilis. And while it was banned, there were still many of the natives who drank it secretly, and that was the inspiration for what would later become Licor 43. So as I mentioned, it was a Zamora family with two brothers, a sister, and the sister's husband who started Licor 43 in 1946. And the Licor gained local popularity in the 50s and then started becoming an international brand in the 60s and 80s. And I'll be honest, Licor 43 is something we've been carrying for a while. It's nothing I really used in cocktails though, so I thought it'd be a fun way to get myself to use it and see what it's like, but then also give y'all some suggestions for it. But before we make some cocktails, let's go ahead and try it on its own so we can get its flavor profile. So the first thing that's to note when pouring this is just there's a viscosity to it that's very noticeable. You might be able to see it, but there is definitely some legs on this. And yeah, it just gives you like that idea that it's going to be a little bit of a sweeter liqueur, so it's just something to know before you even try it. So the viscosity in the glass definitely transfers to the palate. It kind of wraps itself around and gives you this really rich mouthfeel. There's notes of like vanilla bean, a little marzipan-y kind of aspects, a little bit of like a burnt orange zest too, and then some softer kind of butterscotch. There is a little bit of baking spice, a little bit of spice note too, but yeah, this is definitely just, again, kind of a sweeter liqueur. I can definitely see it playing in a lot of different cocktails. As I mentioned, we do have 3 cocktails today that I picked up from Licor 43's website. Let's go ahead and get started with the first one, the Barista Sour. So, for a Barista Sour, you're going to need 1 3/4 ounce of Licor 43, 3/4 ounce of lime juice, 3/4 ounce of amaretto, and 1/2 ounce of egg white, and you're going to garnish it with a lime and cherry. Let's go ahead and get this built. Alright, so we're going to start off with our lime juice here, 3/4 ounce. Get a 3/4 ounce of amaretto as well. We got a 1/2 ounce of egg white. It's a little over half. We're just going to take some out. There we go. And then we have our 1 3/4 of Licor 43. Right about there. And I'm going to give this a dry shake before we throw a little ice in there and give it another shake. So we'll go dry first. Get some ice in here. Right, now that the ice is in, going to give another quick shake. Alright. And now we are going to grab one of our little cherries here. Grab a slice of lime as well. Marry those two. And there we go. We have our Barista Sour. Let's go ahead and give it a try. That's really tasty. So I was kind of afraid that amaretto and this Licor 43 would be like sweet on top of sweet, because amaretto itself is just, sweet, toasty, vanilla kind of flavor profile. With the already vanilla bean aspects of the Licor 43, I was worrying this is going to be a little too sweet. But I think it's just the combination of the lime juice, maybe even the egg whites that just break that down a little bit. So you do get some really nice toasty nuttiness to this. There is that still a little bit like pop of butterscotch from the Licor 43. But yeah, like the orange zest from the Licor 43 mellows out a little bit. You get a little bit more of a stone fruit note from the amaretto too. It just makes this really well balanced. Again, nice big mouthfeel from the Licor and the amaretto. Both of those are kind of syrupy liqueurs, so it definitely affects the mouthfeel, but it makes it just like a nice coating effect and just makes it a little bit more vibrant with that lime. That lime really pops and kind of lets everything lighten up. So yeah, you just get this really nice like creaminess, softer vanilla bean, a little bit of orange zest, a little bit of stone fruit. It just kind of plays off the palate really nicely. A lot of toasty nuttiness on the back end too. This is a fun cocktail. This is really cool. This is something I'll definitely probably add into my repertoire for when I have guests over. So let's go ahead and move on to the second drink from Licor 43, and that is the Baristo by Night. So for the Baristo by Night, you're going to need 1 ounce of Licor 43, 3.5 ounces of cola, 1 ounce and 3/4 of a dark rum. We're going to be using the Hamilton 114 Navy Proof. And you also need a little bit of Angostura bitters. And since this cocktail doesn't have any citrus, we're just going to make it in the glass to make it easier for everybody. So let's go ahead and start out with the cola. So 3 ounces and 1/3 of cola. That's 2.5. That's 3 and about 1/3. Then we have 1 3/4 of an ounce of rum. Right about there. We have our 1 ounce of Licor 43. Yeah, even the way it pours out of even like the minis, it just has like a slow chug, like it's, you know, gripping to the sides because it's so rich and full. So throw that ounce in. Then go ahead and give it a couple sprays of Angosturas. I like to use a spray bottle. I mean, you could do the dash too. Basically, a spray to me is like a dash and a half, so I usually go for like a dash to 1 to 2 sprays. Go ahead and stir that up real quick. And then here is our lemon wedge. And boom. Baristo by Night. Let's go ahead and give it a try. So I think with this cocktail, it does have a lot to do with what rum you use. I imagine when they say use a dark rum, they're talking about more of like, you know, your traditional dark rum, maybe not a Navy proof or 114 proof rum. Because Hamilton's, reason why I like Hamilton rum a lot is because it isn't that sweet, so you get some really nice like bold rum agricole kind of profiles to it, just rum flavors in general to it. And so with the Licor 43 and with the cola, with the Boylan's cola, it really just extrapolates a lot of those rum flavors, in my opinion. So you do get a little bit more of that like agricole breadiness to this one. But then there's this really nice like cola spice with that with the rum spice as well. The Licor 43 definitely takes a back seat on this cocktail. It makes sense, you know, it's only an ounce compared to everything else that was over 1.5 ounces. And it does still add a really nice nuttiness to it. You still get a little bit of that butterscotch note, and it definitely affects the mouthfeel. Again, you get this really big, voluminous mouthfeel that coats your palate, and then again, those spice notes just really come through nicely. So this definitely highlights the rum more than the liqueur, I believe. Part of that reason could be the rum I used, but it definitely highlights rum. So if you are a rum fan and you're looking to something to kind of just accentuate those flavors that you like in rum, this is a cocktail you might want to try. Now let's go ahead and move on to our last cocktail, the Dr. Sam Licor Tea. So the recipe for the T43 is really simple. All you need is 1 2/3 ounce of Licor 43, 1 green tea bag, and a 1/2 ounce of lemon juice. So what you do is you steep the green tea bag in the Licor 43 for about 2 minutes. This one's been in there for about 3, maybe 4 minutes now. But you take out that tea bag, add a 1/2 ounce of lemon juice, we're going to put an ice cube in there and give it a stir. So that is your T43. Let's go ahead and try it out. I think I'm finding out that I like Licor 43 when there's some citrus involved into it. So just like with the Baristo Sour, you know, that had the lime juice. The T43 has the lemon juice. And it does a really good job of cutting down the sweetness of the Licor 43, but still letting it shine with its flavor profile. So you still get that really nice, like toasted, the vanilla bean becomes a little bit more toasted vanilla here, That lemon just gives it this really nice pop. This reminds me a lot of a lemon meringue pie, honestly. So this is definitely something I'm going to try for my fiance because she loves lemon meringue pie. But that's exactly what this reminds me of. Like, it even has that like confectionate, sugary kind of mouthfeel to it, where it coats the palate. You get a little bit of that sugar burst, and then there's that really nice like fresh lemon that pulls through. You get a little bit of spice from the green tea. It says only to steep it for 2 minutes. Like I said, I did it for 3 to 4 minutes. I might even do it a little longer to try to see if I can get some more of that green tea characteristic coming out of this, because it's really subtle on the back end, but it is nice because again, it gives you that like lemon meringue pie combination here. So yeah, the green tea serves as what could be, kind of like the pie crust. It has a little bit of those like baking spice kind of notes to it. But yeah, I mean, this is very much reminds me of like a lemon meringue pie, which is really fun. Again, that citrus note really helps pull back some of the sweetness of the Licor 43, so you still get that vanilla bean that turns more into like a toasted vanilla here. Still a little bit of that marzipan-y kind of idea. But yeah, just kind of refreshing with how big and mouthfeel and how like the idea of sweetness this has. All right, everybody, that's going to wrap up this episode of Sipping with Jeremy. Thank you for joining us. You will find links below to our store website and also links where you can purchase the Licor 43 and some of the other spirits that I used on this video that are supplied by the store. If I had to rate the cocktails, it would definitely be the Barista Sour for me first. I really dug the T43, and then, the Barista by Night. Not exactly my thing. I'm not a big Coca-Cola or cola soda person, so maybe not be the best one for me. But I found that Licor 43 with citrus, so either in like the Barista Sour or the T43, is definitely my preferred way to enjoy Licor 43. It is something you can also just enjoy on its own, neat or on ice. There is a lot of flavor there. Again, for me, I like the ones with citrus because it cuts down on the sweetness of it a little bit. But hey, if you enjoy that, there's nothing wrong with that. You can go ahead and sip this neat, and you will have a really nice experience because there are a lot of flavors there too. But thank you for joining us, y'all. Have a great week. See you in a couple weeks, and don't forget to drink well.